start.
Okay, so good evening once again, everyone. So today, we will be demonstrating task 7, set up DHCP server role. So dynamic host configuration protocol, or DHCP, is a network management protocol used to automate the process of configuring devices on IP networks, thus allowing them to use network services and any communication protocol. A DHCP server dynamically assigns an IP address and other network configuration parameters to each device on the network so they can communicate with other IP networks. So DHCP provides the following benefits: reliable IP address configuration. DHCP minimizes configuration errors caused by manual IP address configuration, such as typographical errors or address conflicts caused by the assignment of an IP address to more than one computer at the same time. And lastly is the reduced network administration. So the one who will be demonstrating the setup of the HCP server role will be my partner, Mr. Jiggy Malbog. So by the way, before we proceed, we will be following a video that was given to us by our teacher, Mr. Clyde Balaman. So in this video, um, we are shown on how to a we are shown how to properly set up the DHCP server role. So we will only be following it and relying on what steps we will take on the demonstration. So, okay, Jigs. So, video
All
muna.
right. Yep,
Ayan,
yep.
sige. So, let us watch the video for a while so that we will know what to do and what to do next for our demonstration.
The notification for DHCP prompts until you get to the Server Roles tab. Check the DHCP server. The screen will be presented with name
Yes.
the screen
So in
and
this
select.
part, we will not be showing you anymore the video since we already know what to do. So, ako muna mag-recap ani Jigs. So, a simple recap for you who did not know or does not know how to download or add our roles and servers in our server manager in our Windows Server 2016. So the first thing that we need to do is to launch our virtual Oracle VirtualBox Manager. Let and launch the Windows Server 2016. So after launching the Windows Server 2016, we must open our server manager. Go to dashboard or here. So as you can see here in our dashboard, there is a manage button here at the top right corner, and click add roles and features. So here we will be given an instructions on how to install a or add roles and features in our server. So all we have to do to to download or add a roles and features is in here is to click next, and here in the installation type we need to click the role based or feature based installation. And next, for our server selection, we will since our server has only one what you call this operating system, we will use that for now. So here, this is where we can select which roles we are going to install in our server. Since we have already downloaded our DHCP server, we don't need to reinstall it since we are only showing this to you for you to have a knowledge on how to install it. So if you have not installed it yet, you're going to click the DHCP, then next. I mean, click the check button. For an example for this is like it would be like this. It will show something like this, and you will click the add features, and then it will take you to this page here. You only need to click next. So let me demonstrate the installation of Hyper-V. All you need to do is click next, and then it will uh, it will automatically download some of the features, and then it will take you to the confirmation, and then it will take minutes for it to finish the download, and after a restart of your server, it will be available in our server manager. So after that, that would be all for downloading on how to download a DHCP in our server manager. So let us proceed to the next part of the demonstration, which is the complete DHCP configuration. Okay, Jigs, ito ang video.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
good evening
good evening
once
once
again.
again.
So
So
before I
before I
start,
start,
I
I
will
will
give a
give a
little
little
recap
recap
or
or
summary of
summary
the
of
first
the
part of
first
the
part of the
video,
video,
which
which
explains
explains
DHCP.
DHCP.
So
So
DHCP
DHCP
or
or
Dynamic
dynamic
Host
host
Control
control
Protocol
protocol
is
is
like
like
the
the
same as
same
the
as the
previous,
previous,
where we are
where we are
assigning a
assigning
IP
a IP
address
address
to
to
the
the
clients.
clients.
But in
But
this
in this
case,
case,
DHCP,
DHCP,
which is
which
a
is a
role in
role in
the
the
server
server
manager,
manager,
will
will
make
make
the
the
server
server
the one
the
to
one to
allocate
allocate
the IP
the IP
address
address
in
in
for
for
the
the the
other
other
PC
PC
clients that
clients
are
that
in
are
the
in the
directory of
directory
that
of that
server.
server.
So
So
in
in
in the
in the
example
example
in the
in the
video,
video, it is
it
like
is
a
like a
hotel
hotel
where
where the
the
server
server
can
can res
can have
can have
reservations,
reservations,
have
have
empty
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 rooms, and
rooms, and
also
also
uh,
uh,
rooms that
rooms that
are not
are not
able to
able to
be
be
apply, and
and
not
not
able to
able to
be
be
occupied by
occupied
a
by a
host.
host.
So
So
that
that
is
is
a
a
short
short
summary of
summary of
what
what
DHCP is
DHCP is
like for
like
a
for a
server.
server.
All right,
All right,
so
so
let's
let's
continue
continue
and
and
play the
play the
video.
video. A notification for DHCP. The DHCP post-install configuration wizard will now appear. The first window tells us that we will need to create the DHCP administrators and DHCP user security groups and authorize the DHCP server. The next screen we will be presented with is the authorization screen. We need to specify a domain user account that has domain administrative permissions. By default, it specifies the account administrator. We know that this administrator account is a domain account because it is prefixed by our domain NetBIOS name, itflee, and a backslash. This account is suitable for the task required, so click on Commit to continue. Next, you will be brought to the summary page where you can see the two tasks that are being completed. The tasks are now completed, so we can close out of the DHCP windows. Now you will notice on the left side of our screen we have a DHCP tab. We can click on this tab and view information related to DHCP such as events, services, and more. To open the DHCP, all right,
So
so
since we've
since we've
downloaded
downloaded
the
the
DHCP
DHCP
role,
role,
let's
let's
see
see
where it
where
is
it is
now.
now.
In
In
in the
in
left
the left
side,
side,
there is
there
now the
is now the
DHCP
DHCP
role.
role.
I-complete muna natin ang configuration.
Uh,
Yan.
okay,
Okay,
so
so
let's
let's
complete the
complete the
DHCP
DHCP
configuration
configuration
by
by
clicking the
clicking the
DHCP
DHCP
configuration
configuration
on the
on
top.
the top.
Okay? So ako na lang magkuan jigs. Ako mag-store.
Alright.
Okay. So let me to again. Let me ano to again. Hayaan niyo akong umulit sa sinabi ni Jiggy. So, to complete the DHCP configuration, all you need to do is to locate this little flag right here at the upper right corner of our server manager. So it is a notification icon, as they call it, and then click the icon itself, and then it will show after you have downloaded the DHCP, after you have added the roles DHCP in our server manager, it will be displayed here and show to complete the DHCP configuration. So to complete it, you only need the only thing you need to do is to click the DHCP configuration, and then and here, um, and like the video, all we need to do is to click next. Since in this DHCP post install configuration wizard, it will only show the instructions or descriptions on how DHCP is going to be finished or downloaded in our server. So the next part is the authorization. So here, wait lang, ano ginawa sa video? Next lang ba rin? So here, um, we there will tawag niyan. So in this authorization part, there will the user's credentials will be showed. Since we are the user, we are the administrator, and our domain name is CCS. So it is here. Um, nakalagay na CCS, and since we are the administrator, or our username is administrator, so it will be shown here. So the next thing that we need to do is it commit? Wait, let me check. Make some video.
To the summary required, so click on Commit to
Let's
continue.
commit.
Next, you will be brought to the summary page where you can see the 2 tasks that are being completed. The tasks are now completed, so we can close out of the DHCP windows.
Okay, so the thing that we need to do is just to click commit. And yes, so the summary that was shown is creating security groups is done, authorizing the DHCP server is done. So here in the middle, please restart the DHCP server service on the target computer for the security groups to be effective. So for now, we will just follow the video on the things that we need to do. So click next. Click close pala. Ayan. And then in the video, he clicked the DHCP on the left side corner to display the servers or events. Ayun. So here it is. So like in the video, wait a minute.
Now you will notice on the left side of our screen we have a DHCP tab. We can click on this tab and view information related to DHCP such as events, services, and more. To open the DHCP Management Console, click on Tools, DHCP within Server Manager. The
Ayan. So to open daw the DHCP Management
services, we can click more. To open the DHCP Management Console, click on
Ayan, to open the DHCP Management Console daw is to click on the tools and then DHCP. Ayan. So let us just stretch. Ayan. Then the next thing to do is
Tools, DHCP within Server Manager is listed along with its IP version 4 and IP version 6 settings. In this course, we'll be dealing with the IP version 4 because it's by far the most commonly used protocol. Right now, our DHCP server is not fully functioning because we need to define a scope for it to use. We will do that in the following lectures. Great job getting the DHCP server role installed, and I will see you in the next lecture.
So the video, that was the last part. He only showed us on how to open the DHCP um, management, ano sabi niya? Basta yung console daw. So here it is. So here we can see the IPv4 and IPv6. However, in this activity, we will only be using the IPv4. So it is the most commonly used ano daw in it is the most commonly used for us daw. So let us follow through with the video since it is still not finished. So there is a continuation.
We'll be completing this lecture from the ITF-DC01 server or any server that has the DHCP server role installed. A DHCP scope is a pool of IP addresses on a specific subnet that can be leased by the DHCP server. Each subnet can only contain one scope with a continuous range of IP addresses. This means that you cannot create a scope ranging from 192.168.0.1 through 25 and another scope for 192.168.0.30 through 50. The scope would instead need to be 192.168.0.1 through 50, and you would need to create an exclusion for the IPs ending with 25 through 30. To create a DHCP scope, open the DHCP Management Console by opening Server Manager and selecting Tools, DHCP.
So first, let us open the DHCP Management Console. Yes, we have already opened it. So here it is. Next thing to do is
click on the DHCP server we want to configure, in this case itfdc01.itfleet.com. Right-click on IP version 4 or IPv4 and select New Scope. The New Scope wizard will appear. Click Next and specify a scope name and description. This isn't entirely important, it's only for this admin console and no one else is going to see it. For the name, I'm going to enter IP version 4 scope. For the description, I'm going to enter the scope I intend to use, which is 192.168.0.2 through 254. Click Next and move on.
okay, so we are going to follow that. Ay, saan na yun? DHCP, and then our computer server name, which is the PHDADC. Then click on IPv4. Ano muna, drag down muna, yan. And then right click the new scope. Okay, so next. So the name will be IPv4 scope. And then for the description, is 192.168.0. Wait a minute. Ay, wait. Asa na to? Wait. Dot 0 is dot 2 dash 24. 2 to 24. Where is it? Ayan. Dot 2 to 24. 254? 254. Then, let us wait and play the video muna.
On to the next screen. Enter your start and ending IP addresses. Again, I'm going to use .2 as my start and .254 as my end IP. We're starting with .2 because .1 is our default gateway, and we use 254 because 255 is the network broadcast address. The length and subnet mask are automatically calculated based on the IP range we specified for the scope. we can leave these settings at default.
Okay, so next is just click next. And then for the I start IP address is 192.168. Ayan. 0, 0 di ba? Tama ba? Dot 2. And then 192.168.0.254. Okay. Wait. Ayan. So before proceeding to the we play the video muna para tuloy-tuloy ang ating demonstration.
These numbers basically come down to math and are way out of the scope of this course. If you are interested in learning how they are calculated, you should learn about subnetting and subnet masks. In the resources of this lecture, I have included a link to Cisco where it explains subnet masks and subnetting, so check that out if you're interested. Now let's click Next, and on the next screen, we are able to specify any exclusions we may want to create for the scope we entered. I'm going to exclude the IP range 2 through 25 so I can keep them for my servers. Now, this range must fall within the scope that we created, so I couldn't exclude .1 through 20.
And so 2 to 25 for the next part. So the start IP address is 192.168.0.2, and for the end IP address is 192.168.0.25. Ayan.
Because I didn't include .1 in my scope. Once you've entered the IP range, click the Add button and click Next. On the next window, we can specify how long we want the DHCP lease to last. As we've covered before, the lease is how long the client can keep the TCP/IP settings before it needs to come back to the DHCP server for a new lease or configuration. I'm going to keep the default settings of 8 days and click Next. On the next screen, we have the ability to configure the default gateway, DNS server, and WIN server for this scope. Leave the default option, yes, I want to configure these options now, checked, and click Next. Enter the default gateway, and we're going to...
And so let us follow through with the video. So in here, all you need to do is click Add and then Next. Then here in the lease duration, he used the default settings with which is 8 days. So let us also use the default settings, which is 8 days. So and click Next. So the configure DHCP options. So also here he used the default settings, which is yes, I want to configure these options now. So let us click Next. So back to the video again.
We're going to use the IP of our VirtualBox host-only network, which is 192.168.0.1, and click Add, and then click Next to continue. The next screen asks us to specify the domain and...
So here the IP address, we need to click input 192.168.0.1. Then click Add, then Next. And let's go back to the video again.
an IP address of our DNS server. This information is automatically populated with the IP address of our DC and DNS server, which is 192.168.0.10. Click Next to continue. The next screen allows us to specify a WIN server. Now, a WIN server works much like a DNS server in that it relates host names with IP addresses, but it uses a different protocol than DNS. We do not have a WIN server because DNS has replaced this out-of-date feature. Click Next, and now we need to either activate the scope now or do it later. You can do either one you want. I'm going to say no, I will activate the scope later, just so I can show you how to activate it from the DHCP console. Click Next and Finish to...
Okay, so let us go back. So in here, wait. Ba't iba ang kanyang IP address? Oh, yes, tama. So if you're wondering why our IP address is 192.168.1.1, since it is the IP address that we used in our Ethernet here in our server manager. So it is located here in our, saan na yan? Ang tagal. So it is the IP address we used here on our IPv4. Ayan. So as you can see here, it is 192.168.1.1. So there it is. So all you have to do is click next. So in the Win server, here in this part, in the video, he just skipped the Win server part. So let us just click next. So since he followed, since he clicked the no, I will activate the scope later. So we'll just to follow him, and so that we can also show you how to uh, activate it manually later. So click next and then finish. Okay, so let's go back to the video.
Complete the wizard. We can now see the new scope that we just created. Notice the red down
Yes, okay. Wait. Mali ang aking na-click. Ayan. So the scope is available, and also in the video there is a red arrow, or I don't know if is that an arrow, or there's something red in the folder in scope. So just go back again to the video to see what we are going to do next.
arrow inside of the icon. This means that the scope has not been activated. We can go ahead and right-click on the scope and select Activate. Now go ahead and expand the newly created scope. Here we can see the address pool, address leases, reservations, scope options, and policies. The address pool is the list of available IP addresses as well as all exclusions. The address leases screen shows us all the client computers who have received a TCP/IP configuration from DHCP. Reservations simply list all the computers that have a DHCP reservation. The scope options allows you to change other network settings like default gateway, referred to here as the router, and DNS servers and the domain name. A DHCP policy allows an administrator to assign certain IP address ranges to certain devices like IP phones, desktop computers, printers, or unknown devices. Now that's everything we need to cover for this lecture.
Okay, so we'll just follow through. So as you can see here, our scope is has a red arrow, meaning it is not yet activated. So to activate it, all we need to do is to right click and then activate. Okay, so once activated, you can see here address pool, address lease, and reservations, scope options, and policies. So since in the video he already discussed what these folders are, so we will not be reiterating it once again. So let us just follow through the next part.
Great job getting through this. We are going to create a reservation for our Windows 10 workstation with an IP address of 192.168.0.113. In order to create the DHCP reservation, we will need to have our domain controller and Windows 10 VMs powered on. The first step is to grab the MAC address from our Windows 10 workstation, and then we will be ready to create the reservation on our DHCP server, which is ITFDC01. Next, we'll configure the Windows 10 VM to use DHCP for a second networking adapter and see if it grabs the IP address we reserved for it. Start by logging on to your Windows 10 VM. Open Command Prompt by clicking the Windows button and searching for CMD. Start Command Prompt by selecting it in the list. We can grab the MAC address of our VM by typing the get MAC command, or GETMAC command.
Okay, so where is it? So let us open our Windows 10 VM. So let me input the password. Ayan, so in the video, he opened the command prompt. Since we have already pinned it on our taskbar, we need to just click it there. So we are opening our command prompt to get our MAC address. So to get our MAC address, all we need to do is type get MAC or getmac in our command prompt. Wait, and get MAC. Ayan.
Notice that there are two MAC addresses presented. This is because we are using two network adapters. We can figure out which MAC address belongs to which networking adapter.
Wait, why is ours? There's only one. Why?
Maybe two adapters say, ha?
Oh, yes. Tama. Okay, so follow through lang tayo, di ba, Jigs? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's just follow through. Since we don't need to call this, to locate
By
which
looking
one
at the
is
advanced settings of our VM network configuration. On the VM window, click Machine and Settings. Click the Network tab and select Adapter 2. Expand the Advanced drop-down list and look for the MAC address. Now we can see that the MAC address listed here matches that of the second MAC address listed in command prompt. This is the MAC address we'll use to create our DHCP reservation because this is the MAC address of the networking adapter that is attached to the same host-only network that our domain controller is using. Click OK to close the settings window. Switch over to our DHCP server, which is ITF-DC01, and open the DHCP management console by opening Server Manager and selecting Tools, DHCP. Expand our server.
Let us do that first. Let us go to this Windows Server 2016 and open our Server Manager and run the DHCP management console, which is here in the tools and DHCP. Okay. Okay. Let's go back to the video.
And expand the IP version 4 and our scope, and right-click on the Reservations tab and choose New Reservation. For the reservation name, I'm going to enter the computer name ITFWS001. Now I'm going to enter in the IP address that
Okay, follow through muna tayo, Jigs. So, okay. Is to IPv4, then go to this scope, scope, drag down, and go to the scope, reservations rather, and then right click, new reservations, then here the reservation name, since he used the wait, let me check. He used ITF WS double. So we will be using CCS WS 001 since there was no. Yes, we will be using that. CCS WS double 0 and 1. Wait, let me minimize yan. And for the IP address, what did he use for the IP address?
that I want this computer to receive, which will be 192.168.0.113. For the MAC address, I'm going to enter the MAC address that we got from the Windows 10 workstation by entering the get MAC command. For the description, I'm going to enter ITF workstation 001. For the supported types, we're going to leave the default checkbox both checked. You might be wondering what the bootp option is, so let me explain it. Bootp or Bootstrap protocol was designed to
Okay, so let us follow through. So for the IP address, he used 192.168. Was it 0 or 1? Jigs, what is it, 0 or 1?
0.
Okay, so 192.168.0.113. Ayan,
Can you
113.
double check?
Po.
Can you double check?
Double check sa
Okay, let's double check.
okay,
Ayan,
okay.
so it is 0. So 192.168.0.113. And for the MAC address will be ayun. So let me write it down muna. Let me take a picture for a while. Okay, so let's go back. So for the MAC address, it is 08 dash 00 dash 27 dash 74 dash C9 C, yeah, dash 34. So that is our MAC address. And for the description, it is a CCS workstation 001. And for the supported types in the video, he used both. So you'll be clicking both. So let us watch the video first.
dynamically assign IP addresses when computers booted up or powered on. Bootp is also capable of pointing the client computer to an image file containing operating systems. Unlike DHCP, Bootp can only configure the TCP/IP settings when a client computer was booted and not while it was already booted to Windows or while it's up and running at the desktop. Click the Add button, then click Close. We can now see the new reservation listed. If we right-click on the new reservation, we can configure the reservation, delete it, or edit its properties.
Okay, so for now, let us just click Add and then click Close. Then in the reservation here, and you can see there, ayan, so available na siya. So in the video, let us just resume for in the video.
You can also double-click on the reservation and see the settings for the router, DNS servers, and domain name. Note that you cannot configure these settings here, but you must change them by right-clicking on the reservation and selecting Configure Options. Let's switch over to our Windows 10 VM and switch the IP configuration to DHCP and see if it grabs the new IP settings we reserved for it. Log into the Windows 10 VM.
Ayan, so let us also follow. We'll be opening our Windows 10 VM. Ayan, so Windows 10. And what did he do? Wait.
And when the desktop fully loads, click the Windows button and search for Network. Click the Network and Sharing Center when it appears. Select Ethernet 2.
And let us take this step by step. And network. Nag-double, sorry. Ayan. Network status ba yan? Wait, let me check. Network and sharing center. Okay, let us go to network and sharing center. Oh no, why is it not available? So let me check for a while. Settings. Oh no, why is it not available? Ay, ayun pala. Sorry, sorry. Network and sharing center. Since why bakit wala? Bakit walang Ethernet 2? Wait a minute.
and choose Property.
Maybe
Click
related
the
to adapter's name coming na.
Ay, yes, tama. Kaya pala, no? Since, di ba kanina dalawa din ang kanyang ano, um, tawag niyan? Yung kanyang, ang tawag gani dito, Jigs?
MAC address.
Yung MAC address niya. So, he used Ethernet 2. So we will only be using Ethernet 1, di ba? Am I right? Yes, okay. So, click Ethernet. And then, what did he do? Wait a minute. So, let me close this muna.
Network and Sharing Center when it appears. Select Ethernet 2 and choose Properties. Double-click IP version 4 and check the Obtain an IP/DNS address automatically checkboxes. Click OK and close all of the network windows. Now open Command Prompt by pressing the Windows key.
Okay, so wait a minute. Let us follow through. So he changed the IP addresses. Okay, so click Properties, IPv4. Then he clicked Obtain an IP address automatically and obtain DNS server address automatically. Then click OK. Make sure to click OK, everybody, so there will be no errors later on. Then close all network tabs. And then go to command prompt and wait a minute, let's go back to the video for a while.
And searching for CMD and run the ipconfig command. Here we can see our Windows 10 VM has received the IP address that we reserved for it in DHCP.
Okay, so let us wait. Let us go back to so type ipconfig. Wait, it is wrong. Dapat ang IP address niya is 192.168.0.113. Why is it like that? So wait. 192.168.0.113. Okay. Wait, let me do that again nga. Reservation, reservations. What was the reservation name gani again, Jigs? CCS workstation.
W001.
Then here is 192.168.0.113. For the MAC address, wait a the MAC address is 08 dash 00 dash 27 dash 74 dash C9. C9. Uy, ba tayo? C9 dash 34. Ayan. So, for the description is CCS workstation 001. Click both, add. Okay, so it is, so tama talaga ang ating ano. Close that. Ay, wait, properties. Bakit siya di naga-display? Let me type again ipconfig. Ah, why oh why? Eh, cancel. Properties. Network 2. Why?
Now let's switch back over to our DHCP server and see what's changed in the management console. Navigate to the Address Leases tab. Notice we can now see our workstation is listed. Also,
Wait, let me check. So it is inactive. Why is it inactive? Wait. Paano to ha? Ikaw, Jigs, na kay solution? Loko ka balo sa ano? Bakit kaya?
Let's check the server. So 100 soon dito problem.
Wait, I called for help on how to troubleshoot. Wait a minute. Wait, what? How's the IP address nga na lumabas? Wait, daw, go to reservations. Lah, makat ni mo diri na part, Jigs.
Alright.
Makakat ka?
Yes, yes, yes.
Ay,
Start.
okay na?
Yep.
Okay, so after changing our IP address to the default settings, all you need to do is go to command prompt and type IP config. So there it is. Our IP address is 192.168.1.113. So let us go back to the video. And
config command. Here we can see our Windows 10 VM has received the IP address that we reserved for it in DHCP. Now let's switch back over to our DHCP server and see what's changed in the management console. Navigate to the Address Leases tab. Notice we can now
okay, we will go to the address leases tab. So it is active. Wait. Yan.
see our workstation is listed. Also notice under the lease expiration, we see it says Reservation Active. Now you know how to create a DHCP reservation. Great job learning that, and I will see you.
So I guess that would be all for our task 7. So thank you everyone for listening and God bless.